Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. We're in the man cave today. We've got a little bit of an admin kind of day ahead of us, a little bit of scheduled maintenance, some upgrades for the bike that I'll take you through in just a second. So as always, in fine biking buddies fashion, grab yourself a brew, grab yourself a beer, strap yourselves in and come with me on this week's admin, maintenance, biking buddies motovlog. Let's roll VT.
Where do you go when you're young, when you're restless, when you're fun, cause you're desperate? Oh, here they come for a chance, for adventure. What's your poison, what's your pleasure?
Okay, so that is the titles out of the way, as you have well seen. Now let me explain, as always, what we're up to in this video in a little bit more detail. As I say, it is a little bit of a maintenance day, a little bit of a scheduled kind of admin day with a few upgrades for the bike. So let me talk you through those. First and foremost, we are talking tyres. Now, it is mid-November in real time from shooting, and as you guys know, I am a big advocate of the Anlas Capra X. But what I have found, certainly post-training, is that my riding style at the moment, my riding ability, without sounding arrogant, is just exceeding what these 50/50 tyres can offer me. Now, these are great tyres. Superb for the summer months, absolutely brilliant when the trails are dry, but as we go into the winter and we're into that kind of long dark grey, everything's wet, very rarely do we find the trails dry. They're just not quite giving me enough. The rear is spinning up constantly, certainly as you'll have seen on the last video, a little bit of loose slop and mud, and I'm losing traction on the rear, and the front certainly has very little grip when I'm getting into the muddy stuff. So I'm going to change these out. What am I going to change them for? Well, I'm going to go a little bit full on. Rather than going 50/50, I'm going to go for an 80/20. That's 80% off-road, 20% on-road, and I'm going to go for the Mitas Trail XTs. I'm going for the Dakar version just because it'll be a little bit more hard wearing, purely because the bike is a heavy bike, as you guys well know, and I do predominantly do a little bit of road riding to get to and from and linking the trails together. Okay then, so the Anlas Capra X. I've taken these off with the view that they're going to go back on again come the summer months, or certainly the back end of spring. Now, both tyres were put on brand new, and they're probably around about half-life on the rear, and arguably really just buzzed in on the front. So both tyres have done 3,400 miles, and you can certainly see that there is bags and bags of life left in these at the moment. But as I mentioned, they're just not really enough for when I'm riding in the sloppy stuff in the winter months. So I'll put something a little bit more aggressive on, ride those through the winter months, buzz them down through to the mid part of spring next year, and then I'll change them back out and put these bad boys back on the bike. So for me, really, it's a win-win type situation. I never really like taking a tyre off until I've completely ran it down and it's completely spent. But that said, I'm not going to throw these tyres away. I am going to keep these, and I'll put them back on the bike for when the conditions dry out and we come into the latter part of spring next year. So for the winter months, I can ride with something a little bit more aggressive, something that's akin more to off-road trail riding, 80/20 for example, and then for the summer months when the trails are typically drier and it's just generally kind of dust and hard compacted mud, I can go back to the 50/50s and they should serve me well. So let's get these bad boys in the van, and then I'll talk to you a little bit more about what else I'm going to do to the bike. Now, as we all do, I do keep on top of the maintenance of the bike, as you guys well know. I'm constantly checking and servicing the brakes, pulling those pads out, cleaning the cylinders out, getting all of the dirt and dead rabbits and tomatoes and potatoes and goodness knows whatever else the bike gathers whilst you're trail riding. However, trail riding is incredibly tough on those general moving parts within the bike, and brakes are no exception. Ironically, unlike road riding, which tends to buzz through front brakes far quicker than rear brakes, trail riding tends to buzz through rear brakes far more than front brakes, possibly because you're using the rear brake a little bit more, I don't know, but it could also do with the fact that the rear brake caliper is picking up considerably more dirt and abrasive materials than perhaps the front calipers would be. I'm not entirely sure, but it is what it is. So I'm going to take the opportunity, whilst I've got the bike fully stripped out in terms of the wheels off, calipers off, etc., to change the brake pads out, both front and rear, so that we can put back on with brand new tyres on and also brand new brake pads in, and I'll give the calipers a service at the same time. I'm highly likely to change that fluid at the same time. It has been in there now for over 12 months, so it's probably a little bit overdue as well. So let's just take a quick look look at the brake pads, a good bit of Yorkshire thrift going on here. I'm sure there's probably about 0.5 millimetre to 1 millimetre's worth of abrasive material left, certainly on the fronts. The rear has got a slight little bit more, but given the nature of the rear braking and the dirt and the harsh environment that it's in, I may as well use this opportunity and get those changed out as well. Okay, so that's the tyres out of the van now. We've got an empty vehicle, so let's have a look and have a bit of a compare between the Analyst Capra X as a 50/50, more of a summer tyre, dry weather tyre, than what I've gone for, which is the Metas Trail XT, and 80/20, 80% off-road, 20% on-road. So let's just have a little bit of a look and a compare, and I'm sure you can see straight away from the off-in there is quite a big pronounced difference. Maybe not too much on the rear, albeit the block pattern is considerably wider and better spaced, so it should clear a lot better in the mud, but significantly the front, if we have a look across the profile of the tyre, you can certainly see there that the front looks a lot more grippy and a lot more suited to the wet conditions. Now the bike itself, as you can see there, is behind me. It's just all propped up and strung up. I'm going to change out the brake pads front and rear, and I'm also going to change out the brake fluid as well. As I said, that's been about a year since I've done the brake fluid, and it's just starting to taint a little bit, so I may as well do that while I've got it. Put these tyres in, so keep an eye on the YouTube channel, guys, and I'll let you know once I've got a handful of rides under my belt how I feel about these Metas Trail XTs and how they're certainly feeling compared to the Analyst Capra X. Okay then folks, so that is the video done and dusted. I've definitely got my work cut out, as you can see there behind me. Got to get the wheels on, got to get the brake pads sorted, and got to get that brake fluid out, and I may as well clean and lube the chain, ready for the next ride, which I ordinarily do anyway. So if you have stuck with me to the end, and thank you very much for your company as always. If you haven't done so already, then please hit that subscribe button and do leave a comment. I do my level best to reply to all comments, both positive and negative. So the final thing for me to say to you guys is, wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, keep it safe, enjoy your ride, and we will catch you for the next one. Cheers folks, bye now, bye.